Alright, so I'm kind of amazed after all this time I've not done one like this yet, but we're gonna do it. Originally I had an idea for recurring bosses, but I got like a few in there and decided that it wasn't working, so fuck it, I'll just do a regular boss list instead. As usual, it's gonna be the one per franchise kind of thing, so there you go, let's get on it. Now, technically speaking, I haven't experienced this myself, but I've seen enough about it and I've heard enough about it to where I can say I'm at least informed, I'm just not experienced. So, for the pure fact of things like intrigue and curiosity and legacy, I'm gonna give it a spot and say I like it for those reasons. I like what it has and what it's become, but it's never been something I myself have experienced, so I can't really attach more value to it than just that. I feel like Shao Kahn stands as a better antagonist for the Mortal Kombat universe than the likes of someone like Shang Tsung, who feels very basic, Shinnok, who's kinda just underwhelming, the Deadly Alliance, which is boring, and then Onaga, which is a little bit too over the top and annoying for my taste. Then there's Blaze, who yet again is just over the top and annoying. Out of all of them, Shao Kahn's the only one who feels like you have a kind of a chance at beating, or at least I do. He's the only one of those that I've been able to beat with decent succession, maybe cheating, but I've still been able to do it time and time again. Blaze, I have a few run-ins, and then I don't even really get to the Deadly Alliance because Onaga's a stupid piece of shit and it's just not worth it. So for that, and for just who he is as a character, I found Shao Kahn far more interesting and I like him a lot better, and it just feels very satisfying when you do get a chance to knock his ass out. K. Rool, I think, is one of the more interesting antagonists out there. I like his many personalities, the fact that he feels like a threat, you're going through a major boss hurdle when you're fighting him, and it feels achievable. It was kind of one of those hard Nintendo hard things, and I liked it. The plot setup is really simple and all that, but it's just satisfying to be able to fight something that feels challenging but fair, and then overcome it. And I don't know, he's just a super interesting character. I like that he feels like a bigger deal than any of the Kongs combined, and he's got this very flaring and diverse personality, and it's just portrayed very, very well. So I like K. Rool. And yet again, with Shao Kahn, it feels very satisfying to finally knock him out and beat him. Now, this was the primary reason for the recurring boss list that I originally had in mind, was because when I think of one of the most iconic recurring bosses, it's Nitros. Nitros, I think, is just incredibly interesting for who he is. I like the battle arena, I like the power-ups they give you. It feels like this interesting energy board where he draws his power from. He's designed really cool. I like that you fight him over and over, and he gets stronger and smarter each time, so you gotta step your game up, and he evolves with you as you do. I think it's really cool, really fun. There's not much more I can say to praise it, but yeah, no, I think of all the Bomberman villains, he's one that doesn't get enough attention, and he should.
Hey, you again, S-Slick. You're pretty stubborn to follow me all the way here. Fine, I see, I get it. Let's just put an end to this, shall we?
I didn't really feel like playing Thousand Year Door again and getting all the way up to this point just to record footage. But Dupless is one of the best characters in Thousand Year Door. It's got like this kind of perfect setup to it. I love the battle arena, I love the music, I love the idea that you're fighting against yourself, against him, and against your parties. It's really good like that. I can see why he's one of the most popular ones in Thousand Year Door. I think he's just really well done. It's a fun fight. It's, I don't know, something about the challenge yourself kind of thing I've always liked in video games, and I feel like this is a good execution to it. So, there you go. So for starters, fighting something like a Chozo statue is really cool and fun, and I enjoyed that they did that in Super Metroid. But what I liked even more than that was the idea that they stepped it up again even further in the Metroid 2 remake. And I think that's kind of funny and kind of sad that I'm putting this on this list considering the fact that it's not even an official game, but it left enough of an impact with me to say yes, they went above and beyond. So normally, or at least in Metroid Prime 2 for instance, if you wanted a power you had to beat the boss to get that power. In this game it's the other way around. You get the power and then you're instantly thrown into a situation where you have to adapt and learn to use it on the spot. I think it's really creative, really fun, and really enjoyable. It's a good way to test your worth and make sure you understand really quickly how to use it. And I just think that that's the best way they could have set it up and made it work. I really like it a lot.
See that? Now that was a battle.
Now that cutscene in particular is the very reason that I put No More Heroes 2 at the top of my priority list. Originally it was going to be yeah, I'll buy it when I buy it, but once I saw that cutscene I was like, holy shit, I need this game right now. Now, the boss fight is more about just what the overall feeling of the game is. The overall story setting and importance of what's going on. The idea that you're right there at the very top and then you realize that, you know, the human life has a cost. People are dying for sport and all this other nonsense along with it. It's a really well done fight and Alice makes a fantastic opponent right before your final boss encounter. So for just the entire story purposes and everything built up to it, it's damn good and damn worthwhile.
Me. I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
Breaking the boundary is going to be one of the primary reasons that this game is as famous as it is. And that's for this boss fight. Not only is it a boss fight, but it's a damned musical. And it's a catchy one and it's an enjoyable one. It's a very, very fun one. It was half the reason people always told Nintendo Capri Sun, you need to play this game, and he understood instantly why. It's charming, I like it, it's toilet humor, so it's kind of stupid, but I don't really care. I just think it's one of the most impressionable things to leave, and I think it did a good job with it. It's a simple but fun fight, but the most important thing is just the fact that it leaves an impact on your memory and makes you remember that it existed. And it's going to be that kind of thing that you tell your friends about, or back in the day you would have told them about. You'll never believe the kind of thing I just played in a video game. And this was before things like that were even common. This was one of the first of its kind. Now honestly with this one I kind of want to just cheat and just say every single boss in this game is fantastic, because every single boss in the game is pretty damn good. All the robot fights are really, really fun and good and enjoyable and exactly one of the biggest draws of that game. And then most of the pre-bosses before then are super entertaining as well. But for all fairness, my brother did put me on the spot, and I think if I had to pick one in particular, just one, it's probably going to be Kabuki 64. A lot of that is just for the silliness factor and, I don't know, intuitive and simple game design. So it's like, hey, make the boss kill himself. Like, it's simple, but it's entertaining. I don't know, I like it a lot. It's really fun. Tai Samba's another one that came to mind a lot because, again, the way you hurt the boss was comical and enjoyable, so I like those a lot as well. But all those boss fights are so damn good. It's so hard. It's the best thing about those games, and it makes me kind of sad that, like, you can replay the levels themselves, but you can't refight the boss, because you know damn well if you could, you would fight them all over every time, because they're so much fun. I suppose this one could be a nostalgia bias because it's mostly a really, really simple fight, but it's been one that when I think of what my favorite boss fight is, it's usually the first thing that comes to mind, and that's Twin Rove. Now, for argument's sake, I also really, really, really like Volvagia fight because, I don't know, I like the whack-a-mole kind of feature, It's just feels super fun to me. It's the only time the hammer is useful in the game. But I think Twinrova pushes a little bit further because of the fact that the Spirit Temple is my favorite area of the game, the Requiem of Spirits my favorite song, the Mirror Shield is my favorite item, and then you're throwing all that together into a fun fight. Can be a little bit frustrating at first if, you know, it doesn't work out the way you want it to, but I don't know, I've always loved it. I've always loved the second phase when they fuse together and then you gotta collect up the firepower or the ice power and shoot it back. I've always loved the way the shield looks, absorbing all that energy. It always felt super fascinating and cool to me. So yes, there you go. That's my numero uno. I won't lie, I do feel like I'm kind of missing one or something. Like, I feel like there's some sort of interesting boss fight that I can't quite think of, where they did something innovative and different, but for the life of me I can't think of what it is. So for the moment, this is my top 10, and obviously if I could think of what that would be, I would switch Giygas out for it. Giygas was just one of those ideas where I was like, you know, I feel kind of ashamed that that wasn't the first thing that came to mind, because it's kind of important. But those are the top 10 bosses I could think of in gaming, and yet again, I'm really surprised I didn't do this video years ago, because it feels like something I should have done years ago. It's one of the most basic ideas out. But you can go ahead and say how you feel, what is memorable to you, and all that other jack shit. I'll see you guys later. I'm JC4R. Bye.